Kia ora whanau. Here again with GoPro. Thanks for your lovely feedback about it, and I'm happy to do more of that. So today I'm up here with our golf cart on top of the hill, and we had some big intervention here. We had our friend Lyndon here last week to make a terrace here for a future shed or sleep out, and he did a really considerate job on the landscape, and it was nice to have the ability to talk everything through. It was very relaxed, and so we were able to make a few decisions as we went and managed to save those two kois that mean a lot to us. And you can see the cut in the landscape went into the hard clay here, and from here on where the wood chips are, it is all spill. So that's something now to consider when we plant it up. So this area here we're going to sow in with grasses, probably ryegrass, because it has a lot of sun, until we know what we do here. But here in that part where the fill is loose, and we mixed it with the topsoil, we didn't separate the topsoil and put it on later. We actually put the topsoil down first on the edge, and then the not so bad subsoil right behind it, and then subsoil here. So as we go to the edge, the soil gets better and better. What we did already sow in here before the wood chips went on was daikon, clovers, plantain and peas. So now we come in with a selection of other things. So here's the buttercup shrub, Brazilian buttercup shrub. I put some in as seed already yesterday, but just to be on the safe side, and we have a lot of that. That comes in now. We got some artichoke, good for winter, and some achira, as they call it in Quechua, or Cana edulis, as a nice border here. It's both ornamental and of course a food crop. Yeah, we could eat those corms, very nice starch to it, or we could feed it to animals. The tops are good fodder for goats and rabbits and everything. So we're going to have that here both as an ornamental and as a food plant as well, and it's quite tough. It can handle all sorts of situations. So first about what it means when we do an intervention. Yeah, humans are very good at doing an intervention or a disruption. So this is a disruption here. It could happen naturally as well, as a big tree falls over, we have a landslide. So we have these disruptions. I'm always very hesitant to do anything earthwork like that, because I always feel like we don't fully understand what's going on with hydrology, the capillary action, mycorrhizal networks pulling the water uphill to the trees, and all of those sort of things we disrupt as we do that. So humans are biologically very effective disruptors, and the disruption is natural. What we should avoid, because we do it too much, is repeated disruption. So a repeated disruption would be if from here on we keep digging it every year, from here on we keep burning the vegetation every year. These sort of things are repeated disruption that become too much. And we also have to come out of a disruption with a regeneration. And we always say that we want to make our handprint bigger than our footprint. So this was a big footprint. So the big handprint would be now planting up a beautiful food forest. What you see down here, about a year ago, that was when we started our last PDC, and some of you might have been part of us marking out these contour lines, or if you remember, it wasn't contour, it was a slightly off contour as we do nowadays. And then we made these planting holes for elephant grass at the time. You remember there's a video about it, grass rows on a slope or something like that. So we gave them a generous fill with compost and biochar, and you can see that growth is phenomenal. So in 1 year from planting, we got this growth of 3 and something meters, right? In 1 year, and that's only the beginning. From now on, these guys are just going crazy. You know, the first years they're a bit slow still, and after that they go nuts. So that's only just a little prelude to what's coming here. So they're gonna be our organic matter factory here, and they're gonna stay in the system maybe for 3 years. And what I want to point out here as well is the cocksfoot that we planted on a row. You can not see that much, but because I cut it recently, but it is there, and it's a erosion control line. That's what grasses are good for. So the elephant grass and the cocksfoot make us this hedge against erosion. And the cocksfoot can handle the shade of the elephant grass, and the elephant grass makes use of all the sunlight it can get. What gets down below the cocksfoot takes care of that one. And then we got some chicory and plantain in there. So we did that about a year ago. And why did we do that? There are no trees in there yet, because we are still going to fell some trees, we're still going to do stuff here, and we don't know yet where we go from here with building something or whatever. So at the moment we are still in our first year of observation, but we haven't been just sitting here and observe all the time either. So we have been here almost on a daily basis, feeding chickens here and whatnot, doing archery practice, something that draws us up on the hill where we normally don't go. And as we observe, we also make planting holes, get rid of compost toilet stuff, plant elephant grass on it, plant sugarcane on it, but always grasses so far, because we don't want to invest into planting trees yet, because we don't know yet. We are not sure what we are doing here. And some tithonia, of course, we couldn't avoid that. And then we had all this regrowth showing up from root suckers of the trees that we took down, self-seeded trees, some seeds we just threw out there. So all of that is coming up now, and that's after a year now. So it's a quite dense little food forest, but there are hardly any crops in there, because we are still in an accumulation system. We managed to pull that manic growth of the elephant and the sugarcane off because we preloaded the planting holes. So the planting holes are little abundant systems, and we planted accumulation plants into a miniature abundant system or situation. So they go like nuts, and they will transform the land around them into an abundant system. So we invested in giving these accumulators a good start, and with that initial investment they are turning that place here fertile without us having to put in more things if we don't want to do that. It's almost like a wedding gift, and from here the new family is starting. That's what you do initially with either rotary hoeing in cow manure, in syntropy beds or whatever. It's the initial starter capital, if you want. And the other reason why we did this is we knew that we were going to do some earthwork here. And when you do earthwork, you will have stuff running down the hill. It just happens. When you make a terrace into a hill, you create a flat spot. But if you use the fill below, you create a steeper spot than it was before. So we increased the angle from 30° to a 45° angle. Now we're gonna have runoff. We're gonna have stuff rolling down the hill. What is the best for erosion control, for stopping silt runoff, for stopping this sort of creeping erosion, is grass. Grass is the best erosion control. It's better than trees. So you've seen Lyndon put the soil right against that grass row. Yeah, I told him not to cover the grass. It doesn't like to be covered, but put it right against it. So the best soil is actually right against the grass row. So that's gonna make that grass go nuts from here on. So now we're gonna plant more things in front of it, but the grass row is giving us a border that holds that stuff together, forming a natural terrace. So what this is not regeneration. This is pregeneration. Yeah, we did a repair work already before we started the disruption. Yeah, that's the most effective way of doing things. And now I'm gonna plant some more things up here on the berm.